join us on CoreTV News at 7. I am Ebolomo Adekunle. Reports reaching us say that Nigerian troops have successfully repelled an attack by Boko Haram militants on Maiduguri for the second time in a week. The troops responded to the attack by the militants with a combined land and air assault after the militants struck in the early hours of today. The militants were said to have attacked from the NNPC junction leading to the town and are also said to be attacking Mafa town, also in Borno State. Meanwhile, troops of the multinational Joint Task Force have retaken the town of Goza in Borno State. The People's Democratic Party has praised the gallantry of officers and men of the Nigerian Armed Forces in repelling the insurgents in Borno and other troubled states in the north. PDP National Publicity Secretary Olisa Metu said this in a statement in Abuja, that the members of the armed forces have shown exceptional patriotism in risking their lives to protect those of other citizens and intensify efforts to ensure that the nation is rid of terrorist activities. He also condoled with the families of the victims of the attacks, while also comforting the displaced and the wounded, and prayed God to restore enduring peace in the country. Reports coming in from the Yobe State town of Potoskum indicates that a suicide bomber has detonated explosives in front of the house of a member of the House of Representatives, Garbu. Witnesses say the explosion led to the death of an unidentified number of people, and also disclosed that the suicide bomber walked to the front of the house member before blowing himself up. It is, however, not clear if the bomber targeted the House of Reps member. Potoskum has been the scene of over 4 suicide bomb attacks in the last few weeks. The African Union says that it is agreed to the creation of a regional force to deal with the threat posed by the Boko Haram insurgents to Nigeria and its neighbors. The AU rose at the end of its meeting in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia with a resolve to put in place a regional force to tackle the Boko Haram insurgents that are swept through the northeastern part of Nigeria and is currently threatening Cameroon and Chad. AU's Commissioner for Peace and Security, Smiley Chagwe, says a meeting will be held in Cameroon in a few days to put finishing touches to the move before seeking a UN resolution, a move that has been backed by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon.
Deploy a multinational force to deal with Boko Haram. There will be a meeting in few days in Cameroon in order to finalize the concept of that operation, and thereafter we will go to New York to seek a resolution under Chapter 7 so that we can really make this force operational on the ground as soon as possible.
Meanwhile, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has welcomed an African Union proposal to set up a regional 5-nation force of 7,500 troops to fight Nigeria's Boko Haram Islamist militants. His support for the initiative, announced at an African Union summit being held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia's capital, came hours after the Chadian military said 3 soldiers and 123 militants were killed in 2 days of fighting with a Chadian army contingent in northern Cameroon. It says the terror group has committed unspeakable atrocities and needs to be tackled effectively. However, says military remains
and other transnational threats continue to challenge us. The murderous campaign waged by Boko Haram demands stronger and more coordinated action from us all. Welcome the decision of African Union and particular regional countries to establish multinational joint task force to address Boko Haram. Like Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, and ISIL, all these terrorists, they have committed unspeakable brutality against humanity. Not a single country, even the regional countries, cannot handle this alone. Therefore, I'm asking that those terrorists should be addressed by regional and international coordination and cooperation. The military means may not be the only solution. There should be a very careful analysis of the root causes why this kind of terrorist and extremism, violent extremism, are spreading. Of the antecedent of African Union. And I'm ready to cooperate closely with the African Union leadership.
The Nigerian Police Force has continued its efforts aimed at bringing professionalism to the force with the graduation of 301 officer cadets as ICT professionals after training. The graduates officers, 213 ASPs and 88 inspectors have spent a year at the Police College of Information Technology at Abeokuta, Ogun State. Details of Napoleon Moma's report is presented from our studio.
The Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Abdullah, represented by the DIG, Hashimad Agungu, in his address to the graduates says, Nigerian police, which is currently facing security challenges through the activities of insurgents and terrorists, has taken the step to rise to the challenge through development of capacity like the training of officers in information, communication and technology, proficiency and use.
President, I can say with confidence and pride that despite the threats and challenges confronting the Nigerian police still remains stronger, safer and more respected in the field of security. However, we still face very serious threats. As we have in recent weeks with insurgents, there are still terrorists who are challenged to police officers and men that you need to be ready for the full ranges of threats. It is from the conventional to the unconventional to the cell of terrorists planning the next attack, from the dangers of robbery, kidnapping to the new threats of cyber and other crimes and criminality. We must be vigilant.
Police Affairs Minister Abdul Jalil Adesina, while congratulating the graduates, says the art of policing has gone digital and Nigerian police force cannot afford to be left behind. He assured Nigerians that the police will handle the forthcoming general elections with professionalism.
Policing has gone digital, and as a member of the global village, the Nigerian police force cannot be left behind.
He added the president is committed to a free, fair and violence-free election.
The president has repeatedly declared that, quote, my political ambition does not worth the shedding of the blood of any citizen of this country. Mr. President has humbly demonstrated in word and action his unalloyed commitment to peaceful and violence-free election for this country.
He urged the political class to embrace peace before, during and after the elections.
It's the CoreTV News at 7. We'll take a break and we'll return with more stories. Stay with us. From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Thank you for being there. And for more news and other information, you can visit our social media platform. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. And for videos on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTV, then news. The All Progressives Congress says the DSS and the police are guilty of double standards and lack of fairness following their silence in the war threat by two ex-militants, Asari Dokubo and Government Ekpomupolu. In a statement issued in Lagos by its National Publicity Secretary, Lai Mohammed, the party said it is insightful to note that the same security agencies that reacted with hysteria to the harmless comment by Governor Rotimi Amechi have suddenly lost their voices when the ex-militants threatened to wage war on the nation. APC said the implication of the conspiracy of inaction by the DSS and the police is that under the administration of President Jonathan, there are different rules for different Nigerians, wondering how the security agencies can be trusted to provide a level playing ground for all political parties before, during and after the forthcoming general elections. The party said that the silence is also a license for lawlessness and irresponsibility for the supporters of President Goodluck Jonathan. Barely a few days after the signing of a peace accord for peaceful elections in Lagos, a member of the House of Representatives and Lagos West senatorial candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Suleiman Abdullah, also known as Yayi, has cried out for help over the alleged incessant attacks on his supporters by his People's Democratic Party opponent, Segun Adewale, also known as Aero, the latest of which occurred on Saturday night. He urged the police in the state to address the issue before it gets out of hand. CoreTV News presents this update on the issue.
Solomon Olamilekan Adeola, while addressing the press, says he and his supporters have come under constant attacks by his PDP opponent Segun Adewale, describing the latest attack as a brazen attempt to kill him. He says he was in his office with his campaign team when he heard a volley of gunshots fired from the street as his supporters took to their heels. He added that the security men attached to his office confirmed the presence of Segun Adewale in the midst of the gunmen who attacked his office on Adeni Jones in Ikeja.
I think the story in today's Nation and his Facebook confirmed that emphatically, that he was here to lay complaint about his billboard and the facing of his posters. So that confirmed that yes, Segun Adewale was here in person. And there was another question is from there, where are they heading to? Jimmy Agbaje was to be honored. As I've said earlier on, I'm less concerned about the PDP. And as such, it will not be my problem if they are having any events here in Ikeja yesterday. But Segun Adewale himself has made it known to the whole world that he was on his way from a campaign from Ajiromi Felodo and chose to pass through my office, and he stopped in front of my office, and all other evidences are there. The back of my Land Cruiser Jeep was there, the window of my offices that was shot at was there, the gates was there, and these are the cartridges that was shot by Segun Adewale and his team while they were here yesterday.
According to him, the incident has been reported to the police and investigations are on by the police. He, however, expressed his surprise and disappointment at the duplicity of the PDP candidate in his rebuttal of the attack.
Already yesterday I've called him and he has sent his men, the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of operation and the Deputy and the DPO, Ikeja Division and Mine Division. They were here yesterday, and some team of investigators to collect statement and information from us. We have followed the rules. We have abided by the Constitution, and we have chosen to follow the path of peace. And I pray and I hope that this time around the police will not be treating this matter with a kid glove. If it is true, they are sincere with having a very peaceful and non-violent election.
Segun Adewale, however, on his Facebook page says the alleged attack was an attempt on his life while returning from a campaign rally at Ajeromi Felodu through Adeni Jones, and also expressed surprise at what he described as a twisting of the facts. While both sides continue to point fingers at each other, investigations will reveal what actually happened on Saturday night.
Apparently, in response to the huge outcry, the Independent National Electoral Commission has extended the deadline for collection of permanent voter cards to Sunday, 8th February 2015. This information was contained in a statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to INEC Chairman Kayode Idowu in Abuja on Sunday. He said the latest information supersedes the earlier deadline of Saturday, 31st January 2015. Idowu said the extension was intended to give registered voters yet to collect their PVCs the opportunity to do so in readiness for the February 2015 general elections. The national leader of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, ABGA, and Governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, says President Goodluck Jonathan remains the presidential candidate of the party for the 2015 general elections. Obiano stated this during the flag-off and campaign rally of ABGA held at the Ake Palace ground in Abeokuta. Details from Napoleon Mome is presented from our studio.
The governor urged all members of his party to come out and march to vote for Jonathan and all ABGA candidates in the coming election.
For this presidential election is Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. And I ask everybody, particularly the people from the southeast, to vote massively for Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
On the issue of the controversy surrounding the distribution of the permanent voters' cards, he says INEC is doing its best.
All I can tell you is that INEC is trying their best. INEC is trying their best. Well, I believe they are. If they are not, they wouldn't have gone all the way to this time.
Also speaking, the national chairman of the ABGA, Victor Ume, says ABGA is a national party while also urging people of Ogun State to elect a God-fearing man who had the capacity to govern.
Elect a God-fearing man who has the capacity to govern in the person of Professor Bambushe. All our other candidates, we urge you to vote for them. ABGA is a progressive party. It is a democratic party where people are not oppressed. If you are the best, you are given the opportunity to offer your best in the service of the people.
Obiano later presented the governorship candidate of ABGA in Ogun State, David Bambushe, to the party's supporters. Earlier, Governor Obiano and members of the party paid a courtesy visit to the Alake of Egbaland, Oba Adedotu Gbadebo. The Oba said people have the right to vote for their choice.
What group you want to belong to, when you have looked at what they have to offer, what they promise, then you join them and you go on together with them, realize the dream of that group or association.
The monarch also advised political class to shun violence and not overheat the polity.
With less than 2 weeks to the general elections, the Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has warned the ruling party in the state, the All Progressives Congress, to stop the constant unprovoked attacks on its members, saying that such unwarranted attack would no longer be condoned. State chairman of the party, Dan Obi, made this disclosure in his response to an attack on 11 buses conveying members of his party to its mega rally at Umogunokwa in Orionwa local government area of the state. Our correspondent filed in this report.
Dan Obi, while addressing the large crowd of party members at the rally in the communities of 12 wards, says PDP members have once again been attacked by suspected APC thugs along Urumehe community where the Deputy Governor Pius Obudu, an APC member, hails from. He added that the members of the party were on their way to attend the rally from Ibanke where they were attacked.
We are attacked at the Deputy Governor's village. say it here. Let this be the last time that APC members will attack members of PDP for any reason. We are law-abiding party members, but there is a limit. We will take this insult. But for now, we are going to report this particular incident to the police, and we expect them to take action.
Earlier, the party chairman called on the people to vote for President Goodluck Jonathan and all the PDP candidates in the state, saying they will not be disappointed. He emphasized a vote for Muhammadu Buhari will spell doom for the nation.
Under Buhari, we have decree number 4. There was no freedom of speech, and he will reintroduce decree number 4 as president. That is why we have come up powerfully to reject Muhammadu Buhari. For President Goodluck Jonathan, raise your hand.
The Ohioan people who displayed their PVCs signify their preparedness for the upcoming election, just as more APC members and leaders decamped to the PDP. Dan Obi, in his welcome to the new PDP members, faulted Adams Oshomole for his leadership and administration style.
He has not shown enough that he's from Muriel. Everything went there to say, Oshomole the carrier go Iyabo. Which one is pre-com Muriel?
Meanwhile, APC State Publicity Secretary Quadri Eraho says the PDP allegation is nothing but a smear campaign against the Deputy Governor.
Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola insists that the candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the governorship race, Jimmy Agbaji, is owing a 4-year tax on one of his properties. This is in response to the rebuttal in some newspapers by JK Pharmacy Limited. Speaking through his special advisor on media, Akim Bello, the governor said in a statement that the issue at hand has to do with the property on 9 Randall Close, Apapa. He noted that the land use charge on the business premises of JK Pharmacy at Randall Close was not paid for in 2009, 2010, 2011 and 2012. Governor Fashola, however, acknowledged that payment was made for 2013 and 2014 on the same property. He added that the amount due is 1.6 million naira, meant to be paid into the coffers of the local government to fund primary education and primary health care. The Yaba College of Technology, Lagos, has directed its full-time and part-time students to proceed on a 22-day holiday to enable them exercise their civic rights during next month's general election. This was contained in a bulletin by Head Public Relations Unit of the college, Charles Oni, who says the holiday will last from the 11th of February till the 4th of March. The bulletin also stated that hostels and lecture theatres will be under lock and key during the period. The bulletin quoted the rector of the college, Margaret Ladipo, as appealing to the students to comport themselves during the holiday. Mixed reactions, however, trumped the announcement, as some students say the holiday will disrupt the second semester academic calendar. Others, however, commended the management for being safety conscious and allowing students who are not resident in Lagos to travel for the elections. And that's it on CoreTV News for this hour. Join me again at 9:45 for the primetime news. Thank you for watching. I am Ebulomo Adekunle.